Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to week 9 of cracking a cold one. Cheers,
Cheers,
buddy.
buddy. Back. Got it
You
right.
trusted me this today. Hey,
Yeah.
Surfside, we love you. Just saying, sponsor us.
Sponsor us and I'll wear the mustache
He'll wear the
forever.
mustache forever,
Forever.
but we're shooting our shot right now. We would love a sponsor from Surfside. I'm probably the one that single-handedly keeps you in business because of how much I drink Surfsides. Anytime that I'm out, go for a Surfside. Always a Surfside.
You got me on that bandwagon too. A
Yeah.
while ago. Yeah. My go-to.
I play a lot of golf now too. It's a great drink to
Oh,
have
it's
on a golf
perfect.
course. Yeah, it's
Perfect for
amazing.
any occasion.
Yeah, I mean for yeah any occasion in general, but definitely when you're on a
Yeah.
course.
On the course.
Yeah.
Refreshing little
Oh
surf
yeah.
side.
Oh yeah.
After you hit a nice little drive.
Yeah. Gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
So, well, welcome everybody.
Welcome.
It's gonna be a fun episode. It's a Friday for us actually. We usually can record on a Saturday, but it's a Friday. Our guy Deggs is gonna be out on the prowling on the streets of Philly. What are you doing tomorrow night? Talk
So
to us.
yeah, so I told you it was Lumina's birthday.
Yeah.
He just turned 30 yesterday. So we're going to a comedy show.
Okay.
That's at 10 o'clock. But we might go, you know,
Who are you seeing?
Stavi. You know Stavi, the
Stavi. No,
Stavi
not sure.
I always get his last name. I'll look it up. He's hilarious. He used to have a podcast, and then he just kind of got like so big. He was like a co-host
Mm-hmm.
that Stavi Helikius. You ever see that guy? He does like the ball. He sometimes says like the Baltimore Ravens like stuff. He's pretty funny. Um, but that's Nick's boy. He loves him too. So we're going to see him. We might go visit our buddy Rain. He's someone we know from college. He lives in Philly, so we might go see him if we can
Nice.
for a little bit. Just enjoy ourselves and enjoy him being 30.
It's a new chapter.
It is.
You're the last one.
Wait, what?
You're the last one.
Uh, yeah, it's coming.
It's coming.
About 2 months.
No, we're like a month away. Month and a half.
I'm at the end of the
Yeah,
month, so
that's
it's
true. Yeah, I guess since we just started November, I guess you're right. About 2 months
a
away.
little less than
Yeah. You and Chad are a day apart, right?
2 months. Yeah,
Chad's
he's right after me. I'm 30th. He's
he's the
31st.
31st. All
Yep.
right. Because I always send him a text message on, on the morning of your birthday.
You know who's real quick. You know who's gonna be around on my birthday is Pitbull's performing at AC, and I was like, man, that's that's I'm contemplating. So it would be a lot of money. His concert's expensive, and just being in AC. But for my 30th, maybe I'll do
Pitbull's a good concert. It's gonna be a good one.
it. Man.
He has. I did see that he has like some good acts like opening up for him.
Well,
It's a lot of like Spanish stuff. So if you do go,
well, me
let me
me
know. Maybe me and the
me.
wife will come with you.
It was like when you were living with Chad at his house. We were over in the summer. It was 4th of July. He performed some free show in Philly, and we were watching on TV. And man was just killing it.
Yeah,
And dude, he was like sweating like he was like in the Miami Heat, or you know what I mean? Like, and he was just going hard. We're
he's
like,
a
we
good
know like
performer.
all these songs.
Yeah,
Like, I'm like, go Pitbull concert. So
that's
that's
hilarious.
my little tangent on that.
That's like who's your what I would say like your guilty pleasure like artist or whatever.
He's on the
Yeah,
list.
I was gonna say like not many people would be like, oh yeah, I love Pitbull,
Nah, I'm not
but
going front. Like,
there's a one of my coworkers that she's like highly obsessed with Akon,
okay,
and I'm like, that's
it's a little bit out there. Yeah,
that's a weird
yeah,
flex, but okay,
yeah.
all right. So well, all right, we're not gonna stall no longer. get
Get
the
down to
show
business.
started. Yeah, get down to business. It's week 9. It's a fun week. We actually looked at some of these games earlier, and yeah,
Gotta
it's gonna
work.
be a good week of football.
Yeah.
Really good week. We got some really good matchups. Um, yeah, so we'll dive in and get started. Before we do get started, um, as we mentioned last week, we're gonna be doing a small business shout out every single um, every single Friday. Today, I wanted to give a shout out to my guy Simi, his brand Outside University. So what he does is essentially does a lot of just putting together like events. He does have a brand where he has some clothes that he sells as well with the brand name where it says Outside University.
Yeah.
It all stemmed from I believe from COVID, and when you were able to come outside and people were like, "Oh, I'm outside," and he's like, "Oh, you need your outside pass." Let me get a sip. My throat's kind of
Little dry.
a little dry. So yeah,
I like that concept. Yeah.
he would I used to actually have it on my phone. I don't have it anymore, but it was an outside pass that you would like show.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um, but he does put on a
That's
lot of
clever.
events in Delaware. I feel as if he doesn't get enough credit. So I wanted to shout you out, Simi. Um, have you met Simi before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. We
yeah,
we we've met each other.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's
yeah.
a good guy,
Great
and
guy.
he's been supporting us through this whole
Yeah,
our startup here. So appreciate that. So definitely, yeah, show him some love.
he's a big one where he supports his boys. He supports his boys. And I also wanted to give a shout out to another podcast. So Thoughts from the Shade podcast. Um, Shout out to you guys on just following us and showing us love. Their Instagram handle is TFTS Pod. I've actually listened to their podcast a few times, and they do a lot of coverage on just all sports
All
in
sports.
general. But um, yeah, they're just you know two cool guys that I've been following from a little bit from my personal page, and then
Yeah.
I started the podcast page, and they followed one day, and I was like, oh snap, like
That's
that's pretty cool.
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give him a listen here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
appreciate that.
But let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna dive right in into week 9. That's like your favorite part.
It is. I get excited every time.
All right, Deg. So go ahead and get us started with what we got going on.
Yeah, so giving us a little update on the season long record. So last week we had a bounce back from our down week from before. You went 12-3. I went 11-4. So you did get me
Hey, yo,
back to a six game lead,
let's
but
go.
I can live with it. We both did well last week, and this week we have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely a lot harder picks. But for the season long record, you have 64-35 record. I have a 58-41 record. So overall, like we keep saying, not bad.
Over 500.
Yeah, and this was a good week for us. So we capitalized. Didn't overthink it.
Right.
Hoping it's the same case this week. So starting off, it's actually a really good game. It's going to be a morning game
Huh.
in Germany, 9:30. So and
Wake
not
up
only that,
early.
it's daylight savings. So
Wake up early.
set your clocks appropriately. Miami versus Kansas City.
Yeah. Um, I did hear. I don't. And I'm now forgetting on which team it was. I was just thinking about this has popped up, but I heard earlier today that there's one of the teams that is flying out. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that they're flying out tomorrow, and I guess it's going to be hard for a team to be flying out tomorrow to like adjust,
Yeah,
quickly to the time. I don't
right.
know which one it was, but um, with this game, to well, Miami is very strong, offensively, and they also have gained some strength on defense with Jalen Ramsey coming back. Kansas
Correct.
City, I don't trust their receivers um, besides Travis Kelsey, of course.
Right.
That's about it.
Right.
Obviously, it's always like can't bet against Mahomes type of ordeal. Um, but I something tells me that Miami gets the upper hand on them just because of their really fast paced offense. Um, with like the way how Mike McDaniel's is like really creative,
Yeah.
you know. Not to say that obviously I know Andy Reid is a legend. He can go ahead and outduel any other coach,
Dial it up. Yep.
but it's going back to their defense where you're having Jalen Ramsey back there and the rest of those guys that have been playing already for the rest of the season that have been doing pretty well. So I'm just earlier I was like thinking about it. I'm like, what side do I stand on in this game? I just got to go with it. I'm going Miami. I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great start to this week. I mean, well, not great start because obviously we had um,
Thursday night football, but I
Thursday
know
Night
what you mean.
Football,
Great
which
start on Sunday.
actually let's actually talk about that game next.
Okay. Yeah, we can touch on
Because I
that.
do have some points that I wanted to
Yeah,
that I wanted to bring up. But yeah, so um, I'm going Miami. I think it's going to be a great game.
I got Miami as well.
Yeah,
They took down New England last week. They were back to scoring over 30 like they do most weeks. Um, Waddle came alive. He's starting to look better and better now. It seems like he's finally settling in. I don't know why he had a little bit of a slow start,
yeah.
but he looked back.
And
12.
now they have the duo with Achan and Mostert.
Is H.M. back this week?
I think Achan is back. I think. Let me double check.
He might be out one more week, but yeah, but he's about to be back. If not,
Because I heard something on it about it on NFL Live.
12 targets, 7 catches,
Yeah.
121 in a touchdown, and Hill did his thing, 112 yards and a touchdown. Mostert's day was eh.
IR still.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah, I thought he has one more week, but more to your point, they just got Ramsey. More reinforcements are coming for the push here. Something to note is Ahmed and Wilson, the backups there. Ahmed actually outsnapped him still, so I was a little bit surprised in that. I thought Wilson was finally going to supersede him, but he
Yeah.
didn't. But we're in neutral ground here. They're not in Kansas City or Miami, so I just think that being said, Miami gets the edge here just on pure talent.
Mhm.
And Kansas City had a bad loss last week. It was kind of like a classic trap game at times.
Yeah.
The weather, Mahomes was dealing with an illness or something,
Mhm.
and that's fine. I mean, they only scored 9 points. Kelsey was the only one really worth noting. He had 9 targets, 6 catches, 58 yards, but nothing. When you scored like 9 points, there's nothing really to talk about. I think they're going to struggle a little bit in this one. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Miami will run away within the second half.
Yeah.
Miami takes it
Yeah.
over in Germany. Yeah.
No Taylor Swift there. There was actually now, which I hate. I hate that they talk about this. I hate that I'm talking about it right now. Actually. Um, but they showed a stat on there on TV last week, and it was just like when Taylor Swift's at the games and he's having over 100 yards receiving when she's not there. And I'm like, stop it, guys. So really quick, let's actually talk about your boys, your Titans versus the Steelers
Yeah.
on Thursday night. So, um, the points that I wanted to make were, I mean, I still don't buy the Steelers. The Steelers have a good defense, but I still don't buy it because of the fact that they're what I think they said that they're ranked 23rd right now in points scored against them.
Yeah.
Um,
They're, yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and then
Keep
their
going.
their offense is one of the worst in the league, right? So I don't buy that team. Um, it was one of those games that I can honestly say that if I'm a Titans fan, I'm like, listen, I'll live with that L because I know who we have now under center. Will Levis, boy, oh my gosh,
He's legit.
he's a he's a man. He's a man.
He was
He's a
so
man.
he was getting hurried all game, right?
There were some plays that I'm like, holy
It, it's
sugar.
it's it's almost like the same thing with like we said with Stroud, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a good offensive line, constant pressure, but still able to make these plays. Like how many times he like floated over the
Yep.
defender to put it in the perfect spot. He's making Kyle Phillips come alive finally. He's looking like a little Renfro out there.
Mhm.
So I agree with you. I can live with the loss. I thought he was gonna pull it out,
I thought he was too.
and even
That
how he
last
drove
play,
down. Yeah,
listen, that last play, even though like I can see where he's trying to go, but he has to like zip that ball in there like
right,
quicker.
right.
He has
Well,
to put a little bit
he's gonna
more
learn
speed behind that.
from this. It's the second start,
There were other players that were wide open though on that one. So
but the one, yeah. I mean, but my thing was the fact that he drove it down
yeah,
to give him a shot
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Tannehill couldn't do that.
No,
He couldn't do that. You know,
I was sitting there like, damn,
we got our guy.
you got your
We
guy
we we,
now,
we,
and I
we
think like in my opinion, if I'm Mike Vrabel, just say it now.
I know
Give
he's being
the
such an ass
starting
about
job
it. He's being such an ass.
to
It's Will's
Will
team.
Levis. It has to
Everyone
be. It
everyone
has
knows
to
it
be.
too.
You
Everyone
had you had D Hop last week with three
they
tuds.
didn't score a lot of the points, but they were driving the ball
Yeah,
constantly. You
yeah,
know, and not only that, who's playing better now? Derrick Henry,
yep.
because it's opening up his lanes. Those linebackers aren't so close to the line. They have to and Levitt, he's just doing vet things. He's moving safeties with the shoulder fakes and his eyes, and there's
He
just
walked out. He walked out there in that stadium with a hat on, not with a helmet, with a hat on. He was like, "I'm ready for this shine."
there
Thursday night prime time.
there's a lot to be excited about. I really am. Like you said, I can live with the loss. I know this year we don't have the team in general, but if we're gonna have like about 100 million in cap room
Yeah.
in the off season, if Rand and company do it right, we got a very competitive team next year.
Hey, Will, we love you here. So congrats on a great game. We just wish you would have pulled that dub out. Cheers to you.
That's right, buddy. All right.
The mayonnaise man.
Hey, you gotta be a winner if you're willing to put mayonnaise in your coffee.
Sheesh. All right, let's move on. So we got Minnesota or Minnesota at Atlanta. Oof, Minnesota with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
It sucks, man, because it's like something that you don't want to see ever with like somebody having
He was
a
having arguably his best season
yeah
because he was still balling without even
having a great
JJ. You
season,
know,
having
so
a great season, and like I keep on saying it, where it's the first season that you can actually say this is not the reason why they suck.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
I agree.
like
It's a shame because he may have played his last game as a
yeah.
Viking. You know,
Now, if I'm the Vikings, I think they should at least sign him to like a 2-year contract, and then
we'll see, dude.
draft somebody in this next
They
in
might
this.
just move on. I mean,
They could.
he tore his Achilles. I mean, why pay him at all when
He
you can
also
draft someone for the money you do and just use the money to build around him?
he also could retire.
I don't think he's gonna retire.
You don't think so?
Nah. Especially because how I hear like Rogers is reaching out to him and stuff. He's gonna be hungry to come back. And
Is Rogers like, hey man, you want to do some ayahuasca?
anytime someone gets hurt, he's like, "Come here, step into my office." Because they're like, "Yeah, he's gotten really close with J.K. Dobbins," and it's like anyone like you tear your Achilles, get over here. Like I got the remedy.
Oh my gosh. But you have a you have two teams I should say with backups in, because
Advanced
Atlanta
Ritter.
has they have Heineke in, which finally I mean in my opinion Heineke I trust him a
I
lot
don't
more.
agree with it.
I listen. I think Heineke has Brock Purdy vibes, and could definitely put he could win he can win some games out there. With this game this week, I'm going with Atlanta because of Heineke. I think Heineke brings alive Kenny Pickett, or no, I said Kenny Pickett, Kyle Pitts. I'm sorry. I think he brings alive Kyle Pitts. I think Bijan, has his day. This
Comes
is
back.
this
Yeah,
this is a game where I actually have in my betting segment like
a lot
I
going on.
was yeah I was indecisive on this one, so I'll let you guys know about that one when that comes up. But yeah, I'm going with Atlanta purely because I just think that they have a better team than Minnesota, especially right now. I mean, I know Minnesota has Addison. I know that they have you know what is it? They have Alexander Madison
They
as
got
well.
Madison, Hawkinson. Yeah, they got
Hawkinson. They
people.
got some people
They
on
still
their
got some
side.
guys
They
around.
also have what's his name
Akers.
from Cam Akers. They have
Yeah.
Cam Akers.
Hmm.
So they do have some players, but I mean I don't know who the quarterback is that's playing for them, but I know it's
So
a
right
backup.
now, so starting this week, it's going to be Jaren Hall.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I'm sorry, buddy, but I
B-
don't know who you
believe
are.
he's a rookie. Uh, yeah, it's not going to be a good day. Going forward, they're either going to start probably Josh Dobbs, or they do have people keep forgetting they do have Nick Mullins. He's kind of becoming off IR.
Yeah,
So I'm curious which one they go with. Nick Mullins knows the system right now. Dobbs doesn't. Are they gonna give him time to? I mean, think about it. Starting Cleveland,
yeah,
went to Arizona, and now he's got to learn a whole new offense. Might pump the brakes. Depend on what I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it depends on this week.
right.
But I still think it's just something to be talked about. But JJ might be coming back soon though. So whoever's back there, you get the best receiver in football. Addison's balling out right now. He looks phenomenal,
Addison looks amazing.
and he's going to be the perfect complement to JJ when they're all three of them are going to ball out. So Hawk had a good day, 9 targets, 6 catches, 88 yards and a touchdown. 8 targets, 7 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown for Addison. Osborne actually had a good game this one. He had 99 yards. The running backs have been pretty stale lately.
Yeah,
No one's doing anything. It's the snap shares are still being dominated by Mattinson, but Akers is getting a lot of the green zone work,
yep.
so like inside the 20 and stuff. So that's something to note. So yeah, they're gonna struggle this week with Jaron Hall. So I agree with you. Atlanta's gonna get the win.
It's
Heineke's
they're at home too,
yeah
so I also think that helps them out.
they're home. They are gonna be without London this week.
Yeah,
So that's something to note.
that's I did just see that actually today that Drake London's going to be out. That's why I also think that Kyle Pitts will then.
Kyle Pitts, John Smith, and you know what? They have Van Jefferson now, who probably will have a little uptick this
Yeah,
week.
that's true.
Um, he actually ran 79% of routes last week and led all receivers. Now London did get hurt midway through the game, so that
Right.
was part of it. Uh, so I'm just gonna say again. So my reason I don't think they should have bench Ritter is just because they pretty much have shattered him probably. Because if you're benching him now, if he was ever supposed to be your future guy, I just think that it's never gonna happen now.
Yeah.
But
Horrible management
I think I
by
think
Atlanta, but
I think it was an emotional. See,
it was.
they were saying because it
You
was
can
the
tell that Arthur
concussion.
Smith is that type of coach, though.
He
Is
was
that?
pissed because he lost,
Hmm.
and the fashion that they lost, Levis made him look like idiots.
Yep.
So that's just my thing, but I think that they do still win this week just because of the situation in Mini.
Let me see. When is their so their bye week is week 11. So that means you have
And I agree, Bijan's gonna have a good game this game. They're gonna
yeah
need him.
you have 2 weeks. So they have Minnesota and then they're at Arizona after this week, and this is for Atlanta. Um, so Heineke has to do something in these 2 weeks in order to go ahead and
Yeah,
solidify his role with that team, solidify his start with that team right
he's
now.
getting his shot, and there's a good week to get it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So we got Arizona at Cleveland. We have our boy Deshaun. He's coming back. Got himself a nice little happy ending, and he's finally back.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Now, do I think it's gonna benefit them? I don't know.
they're
We saw how that happened when he came back a few weeks ago. I know that was. I think it was also probably like premature, but I still. I mean, with this game, it's like I'm not picking Arizona, of course. I don't think Arizona. Like they just got rid of their guy that was literally their leader of their team, Josh Dobbs. Like the minute that they did that, they kind of shot themselves in the foot. So, um, yeah, I feel as if I actually commented this on a post and on Instagram where I said Gannon giving me a lot. I don't know what just happened.
yeah, it was weird,
That was very weird.
but we're good.
I see everything that is still
Yeah, it's going.
it's still recording. All right, but yeah, so
He's making a lot of.
he's reminding me a lot of Chip Kelly.
They didn't end up moving Buddha, which is interesting.
They did not, which I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah,
Like
I
at
was
this rate,
surprised.
like what are you guys doing? You're just wasting somebody's time. But yeah, so I mean, with this game, it's just Cleveland. I think that they go ahead and they take it. Defense once again wins this game for them. Um, I don't think Deshaun Watson. Something's wrong with him, man. He's just not looking like his.
He's not the old Watson, and he might not ever be the old Watson.
Well,
He might not.
Cleveland looks stupid for giving them that fully. I mean, they were stupid already for giving a player fully guaranteed money in the first place. I already said that pissed off. I feel like the whole entire like
They were
NFL.
desperate. They were
Um,
desperate, man.
the dumbest move that was probably ever made. There will be a 30 for 30 one day that is made about this. Um, so yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I have
I'm going with
Cleveland too.
Cleveland.
I have Cleveland too. So they trade away Josh Dobbs. You're right, right? But it has to be because Kyler's probably coming back
Damn.
next week. I mean, there was no other reason why they do that because Josh Dobbs was going to be their guy. So
Mhm.
that's what that tells me. But this week it's going to be Clayton Tune. So the youngster's going to get the start. It's going to be a rough go, I think, for the team for the most part. Cleveland's defense will probably have a day.
Yeah,
So if you have Cleveland defense in fantasy, expect them to have a nice day, in my opinion.
yeah,
I think the thing to note on Arizona's part right now is Trey McBride had a breakout game. He looks with Ertz out. He ran routes up to 86% and had 39% target share. So that equated to 14 targets, 10 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Hot waiver ad this week. Brown, Wilson, McBride, and Moore are like the big four. They're going to be running routes from here on out. That's basically what it looks like.
yeah.
Backfield has been all over the place, but DeMarcardo's out this week. We just heard earlier today. So Keontae
Yeah,
Ingram will
he,
get the bulk of the
their
carries.
backfield is horrible.
It looks like James Conner's supposed to be back next week. Thank God they need
I
him. So
know.
maybe they get Kyler and Connor next week
I
back,
need James. I
and then
need him. I need him.
but their season's already done. They have one
Yeah,
win.
no, they're already done. But I
So
need James Conner for fantasy
oh
reasons.
yeah, for sure. I just mean, so my thing was just like I just understand why even Kyler's playing, but
He is coming back next week, though.
yeah, he's come back.
Yeah,
So
so
I don't know, but
we'll see.
Cleveland, yeah, Cleveland, they're gonna just win by default because I think it's just an easy win for them. Kareem Hunt had a nice day last week. I think it was because Ford left the game for a little bit again. It seemed like,
Yeah,
but he didn't get any carries, but 14 carries,
Kareem's looking good with them
55
again.
yards and a touchdown.
I mean, he came
Yeah, no,
back with like it was.
like he never left.
Yeah,
He no, he fits that system. I mean, he's a good running back. He's just always been behind one of the best.
yeah,
Chubb. Amari Cooper did bounce back in this one. Also, 89 yards. Elijah Moore. It was funny. He ran the most routes out of everyone, but he had a 15% target share. That's not good. So I think it's a bounce back game for the Browns just to get a win. I agree. Deshaun hasn't looked good. I don't think he's gonna look that good this year.
yeah.
Defense is gonna want gives them their wins most of the games here, like
Yep,
this one.
agreed, agreed. All right, next game we have on the list is the Rams at Green Bay. Um, it's snowing out there right now, so
Lord,
it's it's not gonna be a
pretty
fun
one.
one for the Rams. Um, and that's honestly my reasoning of going with Green Bay. I just think the travel to Green Bay and them playing in that cold weather, they're gonna be like, oh hell no, I don't want to get hit.
Yeah,
Um, I am very skeptical against Green Bay though. I'm wondering if Matt LaFleur is really like
legit.
if he's legit. Now it could be doesn't have that great of a quarterback. I think Jordan Love is back down to earth. He had a few good weeks,
Again,
and now he just looks like he's just human again. So, with them, everybody has said that he was such a good coach, but Aaron Rodgers was there. Aaron Rodgers has been rumored to always be the guy that kind of calls the plays in general. Um, I mentioned it a few weeks ago where Aaron Rodgers there was that story that came out a few years ago when Mike McCarthy was hired by the Cowboys that Aaron Rodgers essentially like audibled
every
70% of the plays in
yeah,
the Super Bowl that they
yeah.
won. So, um, you know, is Aaron Rodgers really the reason why Green Bay was so good when LaFleur was there? or when yeah when while he was there. I don't know. But I think with this game, I just think that just because of and this is one where it can go either way. I mean, the Rams could just show up and they could be showing up ready to play. Um, but I just think mainly because of the fact that it's snow in the forecast, I think that Green Bay takes it. They're used to playing in that type of weather. And my hopes is that that benefits Aaron Jones
Yeah,
in the run game.
yeah.
So then therefore he can go ahead and get some carries and some tuds, and we can win fantasy, and then he can he can win his game as well.
Everyone's happy.
Everybody's happy. Listen, I this year I'm just I, I feel as if there's just a lot of just like what the heck is going on with fantasy, the NFL. Like there's just some players where I'm like, you should be
It's,
doing something, but whatever. It is what it is.
yeah, no,
It is what it is.
I completely understand. Believe me, I have teams I feel like should be better than their record in fantasy right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, so the Rams, they had a tough week last week. Stafford didn't do too well, including a pick six.
Do you think he retires soon?
It's possible. He won his Super Bowl.
He
He's
won
getting
his Super
older.
Bowl.
Yeah, it's possible. I think that at least with the Rams, it's going to be hard for them to compete in the next few years
I
here.
would say if anything, there that's a similar one with like Minnesota and Kirk. Give Stafford just
Short term,
it's
short
short
term
term
deal.
contract just to be there to kind of like coach up the young kid to the next person that's coming on board to take over. You know.
Yeah.
Now whoever that is, I don't know because they're not going to be able to be in like if they are able to pull off a trade to get up into the draft because they're not going to be landing like a Drake May or Caleb Williams. But
Well, maybe. Maybe.
that's where I'm saying if they could pull off a trade, maybe something happens where they're able to go ahead and get up there, and then they do end up getting like because you think about it, if Caleb Williams goes to the Rams, he went to college
Is he
at
on his
USC.
list? Is that on the list? Remember, Kate? He had like a list of teams that he would play for or something like that.
Oh, Caleb, I don't know if the Rams were one of
Yeah, I
the teams.
don't. No, no. Continue. I was
But
just
yeah,
checking.
so there's just a lot of speculation that can go into that team.
Yeah, I don't know if they might. I don't know what the money situation is with Stafford, but it might be time to move on for both sides after this year.
Yeah.
They're having some tough games as of recent. They just had a tough one versus the Cowboys. Cup and Nakua could neither of them got going. Targets were still there, just didn't connect with Stafford. The running back situation, it's been a 50-50 split with Henderson and Freeman in favor of Henderson. Henderson has looked better in my opinion. He had 51 yards catching in the passing game and 31 yards rushing. Freeman got the touchdown. So they are going to get Kyron Williams back soon.
Hmm.
And then on the Green Bay side, they've lost 4 out of their last 5. I just don't think they're very good. I don't think Love's very good.
Yeah.
I think, again, like you said, coming back to earth, the league's figuring him out a little bit. And it's funny because even the times he does make good throws, those receivers are dropping the heck out of the ball.
Hmm.
There was a clip I saw. It was like a series, a compilation of this game, and there was like 7 drops. It was unbelievable. Jaden Reed looked pretty good though. He did have 83 yards. High man and Dubes caught a touchdown. Musgrave was running 70% of routes. Not bad for a tight end. I don't think Aaron Jones looks right. I think he's just not healthy right now.
Yeah.
AJ Dillon looks like shit. I've told you that. I
I
think they
dropped
lose
him.
again. I think
I
that
ended up picking up Leonard Fournette.
that was a great move.
Yeah, dropped AJ Dillon and picked up Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I got the Rams though. I think that they're just a
You got the
bad team.
Rams.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
No, I mean that's can't go wrong with that. So I do want to comment on this contract situation for Matthew Stafford and the
Oh
Rams.
Lord, lay it on me.
He's right now making just $1.5 million. Okay, he had a signing bonus of what was it, 24 million dollars. It looks like so. 12 million last year, 12 million this year. He got. Um, that's how it's laid out on here. And then yeah, because actually no, it looks like he got more than just a 12. Never mind. Screw the signing bonus stuff. He's making 1.5 as a base salary this year. He's making next year at 36 years old, $31 million.
Well, it doesn't even matter if he retires or not. They gotta pay him.
They got to pay him. The year after that, 37 years old, making $27 million. Yeah,
It's all guaranteed.
that is the potential out. Um, at 38 years old, he's making $26 million.
Wow, that's a
The
whole.
cap hit. Now, listen to this. This is a deep one. If they release him, the cap hit next year is $49.5 million.
Oh, you can't do it.
Year after that, it's 50 and it's 50 and a half. So it's only just $1 million more.
They're already crippled. They
So
can't do anything.
they're tied. They're handcuffed to him at this point. They can't give him, or they can't release him at all. Um,
Let me
he
ask you
also
a question.
gets a roster bonus of $5 million in 2025 and also in 2026.
I don't want to keep staying on the Rams, but something. What if they trade Cooper Cup for picks?
They could do that.
Let Nakua
Um,
be the Cooper.
this is even something more contract notes that I'm looking at right here. He has another $57 million fully guaranteed that was just given to him this year. And
You
then
can't
he
get
has an option bonus that is $26 million. They have so much money that they're just throwing at this guy. It's insane. I would say yeah that if anything, you know, we can move on after this. But if anything, they need to go ahead and trade Cup somewhere and get some
get
picks.
some assets.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next game, which is kind of like a whomper.
Yeah.
Washington and New England. Um, do we have to like really talk about this game too much?
So I'll just touch on some stuff. You can give your pick.
I'm
Washington.
I'm
Washington.
taking I'm taking Washington.
Yeah. Okay. Washington gave the Eagles a good fight last week. They looked all right. They hung with them. Um,
New
McLau-
England sucks.
McLaurin had a
New England
nice.
is trash.
McLaurin did have a nice game. 12 targets,
I just
five
want to
catches,
move on to this next
63
game.
yards, and a touchdown. Dotson, he also had a nice game. 10 targets, 8 catches, 108 yards, and a touchdown. It was
Ugh.
bound to happen. He's running 80, 90% of routes each
That's how
week. And then on the New England side, the only thing really to talk about, Kendrick Bourne did tear his ACL, so he's out for the season. Big uptick for Demario Douglas, who's a good little waiver ad, 84% of snaps, 26% target share from that. Running backs continue to struggle. I just think that Washington is a very inconsistent team. They have up and down games. They're on the road in New England. I'm just taking a shot. I'm just taking New England on this, even though I don't feel good about it.
Yep. Horrible game. Moving on. I don't want to talk about it no more. That's going to be like the least watched game. I'm curious how much tickets are to that game. All right, Chicago at New Orleans. New Orleans. Well, Derek Carr looked good last
Yeah, yes, they did. They look good. They put up a lot of points. 38 points
week. Yeah.
on the Colts.
Yeah.
Definitely, Olave could have had a bigger game. He didn't have too huge of a game. He dropped a, an easy touchdown.
Yeah.
Could have been a 40-yard touchdown.
Chicago got strong now. They got Montez Sweat now.
Yeah, but
That's going to be big.
they got Tyson
That's
Bajan starting still.
right.
I don't think they're.
Let me give the positives before I go ahead and give my pick. I'll
And,
just tell my
oh
pick.
yeah,
New Orleans.
and that was a big reason too. I also said took New England and Washington. They gave up a lot of defensive players this week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Washington. They
Chase and
Josh
Sweat.
Harris went ahead and just sold basically all of his assets between the Sixers and the Commanders. Um,
In like a 72-hour span, he just said, "Give me as much picks as you
I'm
can."
curious how much money altogether that is that he just like
He
let
just
go.
offset. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
All right, come back to Chicago, New Orleans. Yeah, Chicago. That's a good ad for them now.
it
Very
was
good
a
ad for
very
them.
very good ad for them.
Yep.
They're building for the future. They're continuing to build for the future. Yet they don't have a quarterback. Get a quarterback. Get a
Let,
quarterback, Chicago.
let,
Because
let,
if y'all get a quarterback,
let's still see what Fields can
you'll
do.
you'll
I'm not ready
actually
to give
you'll
up on him yet.
yeah. I mean, uh,
I know you are, just because of. But no,
no. I
I,
listen. If anything, I like him
I,
the most because of the fact that out of all Ohio State quarterbacks, because I saw what he did at Ohio State, and I thought that he was the best, like the most accurate Ohio State quarterback that was coming out of there because of what he did in college. Now,
they need a new coach.
one thousand
That's a
percent,
big part of their team because they
he's
have a lot of
next to be
talent on that
fired.
team. Yeah,
Which
he's on the list.
that team constantly fires, hires new coach, fires, hires new coach. Now, one thing that could happen is Mr. Harbaugh, if he leaves Michigan
He might now.
with all of that stuff going on down there,
Cool,
up there, I should
cool.
say,
Pete Carroll.
because they were planning on, I guess supposedly they were planning on giving him an extension,
Yeah,
and
I mean
nothing's been
that's out the door now.
nothing, yeah, nothing's
They're not
like
gonna.
set in stone right now. A lot of people are saying like he's like, if I can't scout in college, I'm going to the NFL because in NFL you can scout.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you can have scouts at
Well,
games and whatnot.
scouting's half of college football. It's like
Right.
recruiting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do I think it's a little? I mean, I don't want to go into this topic, but there's like parts of this where I'm like, the sign stealing is where I'm like, yeah, that's effed up. I don't think it's a bad thing if he's scouting. But yeah, so that's where I think Harbaugh could go if he wanted
Yeah,
to. If he
it's a good
wanted
spot.
to go to a team where listen,
Gets his
you
Kaepernick.
played against Justin Fields. You saw how he could play, or how with the type of quarterback that he can be
Yeah,
when he was in Ohio State. So
and
that would be a perfect team if he went to. You coach Justin Fields. You now have DJ Moore over there. You have Vontez
well
Sweat on your edge.
he made Kaepernick look phenomenal, and
Yep,
it's the same type of archetype.
it actually is. You
So
are you are correct. So I like it. I like it. Um, I'm not picking Chicago though. I'm going New
he,
Orleans.
he was going
I'm
Sweat.
I'm
I
going
think
New
they're gonna go
Orleans.
after Harborough. They're gonna lose.
They're losing this week. I'm
Yeah.
going New Orleans. I think I'm on the car train right now. I think he's looking good, even though he is inconsistent. Like, just be a little bit more consistent, bro. That's all you need to
Well, this is the ninth week straight. I choose the New Orleans Saints to win. But all right, let's just talk about some of the stats real quick. So in Chicago, they put up 13 points. It's probably gonna happen again this week. DJ Moore still is competent enough. 4 catches, 55 yards. So he'll probably have an alright day if you gotta throw him out there. Now Cole Kmet had a great day. 10 targets, 10 catches, 79 yards. More than likely because Bajan's afraid to throw it more than 10 yards down the field, so he just checks it down to the big old bear. Then on the running back side, so Roshan Johnson returned, led the backfield in snaps and routes, followed by Foreman. Hard to predict how this is going to be going forward. Messy situation.
do. Who? What did you say?
How to predict how this is going to be going
Oh, I
forward?
was. So you said somebody's name. I was like, what name was that?
No. No, 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 no. And then New Orleans, yeah, you were right. They look phenomenal. Derek Carr looks better. I think the shoulder's getting better.
Yeah,
Alave could have had a better day. Shaheed went off. 3 targets, 3 catches,
he just
153
looks
yards,
good,
and a touchdown.
man.
He's a good
Him
compliment to.
and
They
him and
all
Carr
complement
have
each
some
other.
good
Alave does
chemistry
it
going.
all. He's a deep boy. Underneath guy is Thomas.
Yep.
And then Kamara's another underneath threat, which he's been a fantasy goal mine. 17 carries, 59 yards, a touchdown. 4 catches, 51 yards, touchdown. Great roll rest of the season. I think they roll again this week, as I think every week, and they take down though
It's starting to. I'm still riding Tampa Bay. I have to ride Tampa Bay the rest of the season in that division. But I will say
You
that
don't have
I'm
to.
starting to see the
What I see a
yeah,
little bit here,
yep. But
they're
hey,
getting going a little bit. We'll say, well, this is they got to win like games like this, the gimmies. I don't
yep,
want to see them playing close to this team.
right. All right, let's go on. So we got Seattle at Baltimore. Um,
It's a good
I
game.
heard this actually earlier, and I'm going to make this statement now. That it's actually a good one, but um, Lamar Jackson never loses against NFC teams.
Really,
Yeah,
that's the stat.
at home.
At home doesn't lose.
Yeah.
Okay, the NFC teams. Interesting.
Um, so that was actually that was an interesting stat that I heard earlier. This game is a tough one because this is going to be, I think, a really good game.
I agree.
I think that obviously, like, the travel affects teams when you're having to travel from, Seattle all the way out to Baltimore. Now,
One and
it's whatever. I feel as if they can go ahead and still be able to ball out in that game. They have some strong things going on over there. K Dub looks really good. I love him. I mean, he's Mr. Consistent for me in fantasy. Um, Gino, he's doing his thing.
He's doing all right. Yeah, he's
He's
picking
not
it back
doing
up.
bad.
Yeah,
But there's just too much with Baltimore. There's so much with Baltimore. You can't bet against Lamar Jackson's one of those type of players where it's like he's just too good. Like when there's defenses that he knows that he can go ahead and take advantage of, I just I see it as a field day for him.
yeah,
Once again, there's another backyard football game. Like that's how I feel as Lamar plays. His chemistry also with Zay Flowers is amazing. Him
yeah,
and Zay have been connecting a lot these past few weeks. Um, and then Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is Mr. Security blanket for him. I think Mark Andrews is going to have a great game. I was actually trying to find out right before this today before we were starting, like, Seattle's specifically their coverage on tight ends and how they do against tight
yeah.
ends. That's what
Mhm.
I wanted to
Yeah,
know. Because with this game, I also was like unsure on who I wanted to pick for, like, my prop bet.
right.
Um, Now with this game, I think it's going to be one of our better games that we're going to have this week.
I agree.
I do think Baltimore takes it, being at home, being having a really good defense. Um, I don't think that it's a blowout game, but I think it's going to be a really, really good game down there in Baltimore.
I agree. I got Baltimore in this one too. I think it could be a shootout type game.
Yeah.
Actually, a big offensive game.
Yeah.
On Seattle side, JSN saw his routes slip a little bit. He was at 80% for 2 weeks. Now he's down to 66%. His pass, 14% target share. Not great. Uh, Lockett had a nice game. He had 8 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. We did see a little shift in the backfield. So Walker had he ran less routes this week than Charbonnet, and Charbonnet actually outsnapped him. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if it was game script because they were playing Cleveland, who did kind of blow out
Yeah.
and ran away with that game. Walker did have an efficient game still,
Yeah.
so he still did well. So that's what leads me to believe that had a role
Yeah.
in that. But it's something that we could see maybe a closer split. Maybe they now want to use Charbonnet a little more. They also just acquired Leonard Williams at the deadline
Yeah,
too,
I
so
did see that. Yep.
that's some nice interior help.
What did they only give up, like a third round pick, or was it a second round pick? Let me double check that right
I'm
now.
not sure
Let me double
exactly.
check
I'm
that.
not sure exactly, but I think that's a need they had, and they definitely um, made their defense better with that pick there. Now on the Baltimore side, they let the Arizona game last week be closer than it should have. Lamar only had to throw 27 times. It
Hmm.
was more of a run heavy game. Gus Edwards had another nice game. He had all five green zone touches, 80 yards rushing, three touchdowns. Really big game for him. Uh, Justice Hill looks like he's more the guy that runs routes. He did lead the team in routes, so maybe in a negative game script, he would play more. But I just think that Baltimore is a handful right now. I think that they are kind of looking good offensively. You made the points of Flowers and Andrews. The
Yeah.
connection has been pretty well. Uh, that the touchdown last week to Andrews, Lamar threaded that needle.
Yep.
It was a beautiful throw. So yeah, I think they're at home. You made that. I didn't even know about that stat, but I think I just for them being at home, they're rolling. I have them.
Yeah. Right now, what it says, or what I, or not right now, what it says. I don't know how that came out, why that came out that way, but whatever. Um, so the Seahawks, they traded for Leonard Williams. They gave up a 2024 second round pick as well as a fifth round pick in 2025. So
Okay.
peanuts, peanuts for Leonard Williams. Hey, but at the same time, I think that that's good for the Giants. They can go ahead and have some
Yeah, both
draft
sides got
capital.
what they need.
Yeah, they have some draft capital, and that can go ahead and help them out moving forward with building that team. They need to build that team together, man. Because that team
A
was
lot of work. A
got
lot
a
of
lot
work
of
to be
work
had.
there.
Yeah.
All right, next game we got is Tampa Bay at Houston. Um, this is one where it was also another one where I'm like, huh, it could be up in the air.
Yeah.
This is actually
Tougher one to call.
it's a good game. We wouldn't have said this probably in the beginning of the season, but because of the fact that um,
Both teams are.
Texans are a team you have to respect.
I
CJ
agree.
Stroud is doing his thing with that team. He's building his chemistry with those players. I still love Nico Collins, even though he's been on a little bit of a dry spell for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still on his bandwagon, still riding that train, still starting him and making because I know that there's going to be a week that I'm not going to start him,
He goes
and
off.
he goes off.
Yeah.
That's the weeks that I like.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? I do have Tampa Bay in this week. I'm going with Tampa. Um, there's not much that I can really say to it because of the fact that Baker scares me. Baker's not consistent. It's a team that he should be able to take advantage of once again.
Yeah.
Be able to go ahead and use your consistent your security blanket with, um, Mike Evans. Utilize your weapons essentially. Utilize those damn weapons. You have Mike Evans. You have Chris Godwin. You have Rashad White back there. Like utilize those weapons. Um, they he also does a lot of just running around and holding the ball too much. That's what pisses me off sometimes with him. But I am taking Tampa Bay in this game. I think that they beat Houston. I don't think it's a blowout. I think this game they win. I want to say by three. I would say by like 3 or 5 points. I know it's a weird number, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah,
Yeah. I actually have Tampa Bay as well. They almost stole the game last week from the Bills. The Bills kind of let up and let them come back a little bit. 308 total yards. It was a pass heavy game script for them. Mike Evans did have a quieter day. He found the end zone, but only 39 yards. Godwin looked pretty good last week. 7 targets, 5 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Had a little sweep run for 14 yards. Otten and Palmer, the other people to note that they're getting consistent routes out there.
yeah,
Um, Rashad White looked pretty good. Best game of the season last week, I think. Season high 81 snaps, 81% snaps, 39 on the ground, 7 catches, 70 yards. So was making an impact for Baker, helping be a little safety valve for him.
yeah,
It was a tough loss. Then on the Texans side, they should have won last week versus Carolina. And the reason I saw this take from this guy Ben Gretch, I get a lot of my info from that they just went into the game committed to run way too much. Only 24 pass attempts from uh, Stroud.
yeah,
Carolina's secondary is one of the worst in the league. The fact that they weren't trying to take advantage of that blows my mind.
yeah,
It costed them. Singletary and Pierce, really similar percentages on the routes and the snaps, but Pierce is out this week, already been reported. So Singletary could be a nice little spot start in fantasy this week
okay,
versus Tampa Bay. So that's something to keep in mind. I do agree. I think they let Stroud let it loose a little bit more this week, so Nico could be a good play too. I know
which I'm happy.
he's gonna have to go against Carlton Davis, but still. Um,
Could be a good day.
but Tampa Bay, I got Tampa Bay this week. I just think that they're a veteran team.
Oh wait, no, that's not the one I wanted to use. That's the one.
Yeah,
I would not have thought that you would pick Tampa Bay.
yeah. I picked Tampa Bay. I think they're a veteran team. They're going to
Okay.
take advantage of the young team here, and they wanted to get the win last week. I think they get it.
And guys, just so y'all know, that was like legit. Like I am surprised because me and Degs, we don't talk about our picks before this. Obviously, y'all know that we are like trying to see who
Yeah,
wins at the end of the season. I don't know what the heck we're doing. We're probably just gonna someone takes the other one out for steak dinner or something. I
yeah,
don't know. We'll
yeah.
do
We'll
something.
figure it out.
We'll do
You
something.
guys decide. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, no, we're not gonna do
No,
that.
no.
All right. Before we get started with the second round of games, let's cheers. And I'm actually going to run and get us some other ones. Some new
Cool.
ones.
You do that, and I'll get us kicked off.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk about the next game right now.
Indianapolis at Carolina. So the Colts put up a decent fight last week. They did give up 38 points at home, though, to the Saints. Not good. I've been saying it because of game scripts and the pass and volume that comes with it, that Minshew isn't a bad little streaming option for fantasy football this year, and he's able to support his pass catchers as well, like Pittman and Downs, who had solid games each, 40 yards and a touchdown for Pittman, and 72 yards on 7 catches for Downs. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then JT and Moss, right? So we all want to know what this split was this past week, 60-40 in favor of JT. So it seems like that they're just inching it to Jonathan Taylor. He had 12 carries, 95 yards, to Moss's 12 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, they gave him the touchdown look. So then on the other side, Carolina, it was the battle of the first and second round pick. We just kind of touched on that. Young did look better, I think, than he has. He was taking a little more shots down the field. This didn't show it on the stat book, though. Thielen was the only guy to note. He's been his top guy all year, 8 catches, 72 yards.
Yeah.
Mingo did lead the team in routes, which is interesting to note. Him, Chark, and Thielen, though, are the guys that are running all the routes out there for him. And Chuba Hubbard, sorry.
Chuba.
Chuba Hubbard, he outsnapped Sanders big time this week. He didn't do much with it. He had a really tough day, 15 carries, 28 yards, but that's just something to note. I wonder if they really made the shift a little bit. I know Sanders been dealing with an injury,
Hmm.
but I got Indy winning this. I just think that they've been able to put up points,
Yeah.
and I think that they're versus a defense like this, Minshew will be able to do okay.
Yep.
And
Should.
Pittman and it's a good matchup for Jonathan Taylor. So I think that Indianapolis gets it done on
I agree. I think there's not much for that I have on this game either because I think that Carolina is a team that they're young. Not yet. We're gonna wait till we're gonna do it before the next game. Yeah. So yeah, no. I mean, Carolina's a young team that I think that they're almost like a newborn child. You know, really, like really young. They have no idea what the hell they're doing out there. They're just trying to figure it out, right? They need a veteran down there. I think more than just an Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen's not no veteran presence that you just have
Well, he
in your
I like
as your.
him,
I mean, he's yes, I like him,
but
but
he shouldn't be your leading pass catcher.
you need somebody like you just need somebody different in there. That can go ahead and be that can be a leader to that team. I think to your point, I think Indy takes it. Solely because I think that Gardner can go ahead and carve up that defense a little bit.
Yeah,
I can also see Zach Moss getting some love against that team.
I think both the running backs could have a day. Yeah,
Yeah,
be one of those
it
days.
looks like that they're utilizing them both. They're like splitting a lot of those carries together.
50-50, 60-40
Yeah,
is what we've seen. So
yeah,
until we
and I'm
see
loving it.
different, well, I'm not. I want Jonathan Taylor to get it.
I mean, I know you do, but I have Zach Moss right now, and it's in a league where like my running back sucks. I'm like, that's my shining light right now, until
Yeah.
James Conner comes back.
To be
So
fair, Moss has look good. I mean, he's doing well with his touches.
yeah,
Can't
he
can't be
is.
can't argue that.
All right, before we start this this next game really quick, once again, Surfside, if you want to go ahead and give us a shout out, let's go ahead and crack this one for Surfside. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy. Mm.
All right. Big big game.
One of the games of the week.
Big game. It's Dallas week.
Dallas at Philadelphia. I'll let you lead us.
I'm going to just this is where the fan comes out of me. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be dropping a lot of F-bombs. I'm fucking hype. I am so fucking excited for this game this weekend. It gets me, it gets my blood boiling because I grew up despising the Cowboys, hating the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys more than any other team in any other professional sport. The Cowboys are at the top of that pyramid of like, I cannot stand you, and all their fans, because their fans remind me of all little like commercial fans. Oh, I like the Cowboys. I like the Yankees. I like the Lakers. Yeah, no, get out of here. Don't want to hear none of that mess. Um, I also I just can't I can't stand them. I can't stand them just in general. Um, this is gonna be a good game. Don't get it twisted. This is gonna be a good game. That defense is still something that you have to respect, which I hate to even say, but their defense is their front seven primarily is going to be something that we're going to have a fun time with. Um, what I don't like is that their secondary is sitting there laughing at us, and they're thinking that they can go ahead and have a field day with our receivers.
Wasn't it the opposite?
Um,
They were laughing at your
oh
secondary,
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Their
and
receivers were
there was
laughing at our secondary, and it's becoming like bulletin material. Micah Parsons talking about we need to have all Dallas fans come out there and make it a Dallas game. Hell no, bro. You can bet your ass that that stadium's gonna be loud of Eagles fans, and they are going to have you guys hear it. Listen, this is going to be a game. I mean, every single year that obviously that Philadelphia police is out there locked and loaded. This is I think, gonna be a nasty game. I really think it's gonna be a nasty game. You're gonna have a lot of fans that are gonna be dropping a lot of just disrespectful stuff to those players. Um, God forbid if Dallas wins. Oh Lord, the fights that's gonna happen. It's gonna be insane. Um, because I just think that those fans are just they're gonna be pissed. Um, I'm 1,000% riding riding Eagles. Always gonna ride Eagles with this game, no matter what. Um, I think that there's something with AJ that we're starting to see that that man is just unstoppable. You can go ahead and my gut tells me that this week they put extra bodies on him and that he doesn't have
his
as big
Michigan
as a
State.
week,
Yeah,
but I still think that there's because there were some plays last week where he was just he was sitting there looking at two players like, yeah, I can just go ahead and just jump over you, or I can just put my hand up and just grab that ball out of the hand or out of the air. Um, I think it's a big week for Goddard. I'm not gonna say for Dallas. It's gonna be a big week for Goddard. He's gonna have a good week. He's starting to shine a little bit more too each week. They're starting to get him worked in there.
he didn't have a huge week last week, but the targets are there every week
The
now.
targets are
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
This is actually, even though I think that there's going to be a lot of good coming out of AJ Brown, I think DeAndre Swift has a big game this week. I think DeAndre Swift, they have to kind of like reintroduce that run game because last week they abandoned it a little bit. Um, so I think this week that they go ahead and they rely on it, especially in those key moments. And boy, he knows how to be patient and cut.
Those cutbacks are something of
That's a player that they haven't seen with us before. Yeah, they might have seen him over in Detroit or whatever. They haven't seen with the Eagles. So there's a big reason where like yeah they've played against Devontae, they've played against AJ, they've played against Goddard. You know, there's some continuity going on there. But with DeAndre Swift, they're like, shit, what do we got here?
new kid on the block.
New kid on the block, and you got those that O line right there. The only like question mark we have is Sua Opeta. He is one right now where he's not the best.
Mm-hmm.
First time ever that I'm saying that I'm waiting for this bye week to come because I'm just like I need our guys to be healthy.
Yeah.
Um, I think Eagles win. I think it's a close game. I think they win by 6 though.
Okay. Like 2 field goals or something like that.
Yeah,
Okay. So before I tell my pick, I'll go through my spiel. So
break it down to me.
Dallas had a great week last week.
Yeah,
That defense was all over the place. House call, sacks, pass deflections, turnovers. If you were a Dallas fan, you were loving it. Monster game for Lamb. 14 targets, 12 catches, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cooks has looked a lot better the last couple of weeks. He's had a touchdown in the last 2 weeks. And Ferguson has great peripherals. He's running a ton of routes, basically like the Schultz now.
yeah.
Pollard has had some quiet weeks lately. I do think it's going to be another potential quiet one for him, just because he's facing that Eagles D line.
Mm-hmm.
If he has some impact on the game, I think it'd be in the passing game a little bit. On the Eagles side, they gutted out another good win. They got played hard, but a win's a win, right? Divisional game. 38 uh, pass attempts for Hurts, 319, 4 touchdowns. Played magnificent.
Ugly win, but visual win.
He played magnificent.
Yeah.
AJ Brown, yeah, he's making history right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
8 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Him and Hill are probably the 1 and 2 best
He had a,
receivers.
he had Hill by I think it was like by 30 yards for the month of October. AJ Brown has 802 yards for the month of October.
Those two were just they don't. If you tell me you think AJ is the best receiver in the league, you tell me Hill. I won't argue either way.
Yeah.
They're just both having historic seasons right
Yep.
now. He's kind of uncoverable right now, and they're uncoverable in different ways, which is cool to see. Devonta Smith had a nice day. He really kind of, not that he hasn't been doing good, but he got his, right?
Yeah.
7 catches, 99 yards, touchdown. We talked about Goddard's been still involved. He was just kind of like the quiet guy last week. The backfield again was 70-30 to Swift, so I think I'm getting my wish finally. That seems to be the norm now.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks in a row, as well as should be. 16 carries, 57 yards for Swift, a touchdown. Solid day.
Yeah.
And like you said, he should have had more touches. Could have had a bigger day. I do think your secondary is a little weak right now. Even with Byard, there is that adjustment period. I do think the Cowboys' defense and D line is very good, and as you mentioned, there's a little hole right now on your side. I went back and forth, but because I'm also trying to get some wins, I'm taking Dallas this week. I'm taking Dallas this week. I think it's a game of the trenches, though, right? I think it comes down to the lines on each side.
I'm fucking rethinking our friendship right now. Fuck.
Well,
Oh.
we gotta take emotion out of this, right? We're making analysis. I always think this is the way it is. Dallas wins in
Let's
Philly,
go, bite 'em.
and Philly wins in Dallas. That's usually what happens a lot of the time. I'm about to get a lot of hate, but I'm an honest man, and I think that Dallas does pull this one out.
One more. All right, I don't want to talk about this game no more. I need to like move on and get my emotions out of this because I cannot believe my best friend is Big Dallas. God damn it! No.
How many times have Big Kings over Tennessee?
I know that's true, but I don't think I've ever picked like a rivalry team over you guys.
I mean, you definitely picked divisional opponents. You picked the Jaguars over them.
Touche.
Now, granted,
Touche.
our rivalries aren't on the same level as this one, so I understand. But I made this pick with no emotion involved, so
Now he said he picked the Jaguars over the Titans. So fuck him. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys.
it's my time to get you back, buddy.
All right, let's move on. So we
Yeah,
got Giants at Las Vegas. Um, Las Vegas, man. I am so happy. Las Vegas. Let's go ahead and give you guys a round of applause. Finally, you guys go ahead and fire
yeah, brutal
Mike.
loss.
Like
You,
Josh McDaniels was not gonna go ahead and change his weight. Or oh, goodness gracious, sorry about that, guys. Josh McDaniels was not going to change his ways for anybody, and it was a horrible. It seemed like a horrible uh vibe, a horrible chemistry. Like everything about there was just bad. Um, even like the freaking signing of Jimmy G, like that just had
him written all over it.
Josh written all over it. So
I had him in New England.
yeah, exactly. Like I know I can go ahead and win this games, bro. No, stop. Um, the Giants they're still very weak. With just in general, they're just not doing too well. And then they also gave up Leonard Williams, which is big.
Yeah,
Um, so it almost just seems as if that they're accepting their fate right now with this season, and
that
they're
this
just
is
like,
a wash.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
just like moving on. I'm surprised it didn't. That was another one where even though Adam Schefter came out saying that there's not going to be a big name player that's going to be traded, such as like a Saquon Barkley, right?
yeah,
Because of the money that it's owed to him. I just think that it is I mean, it's all written on a wall that Saquon's not going to be there next year because
yeah.
they're not going to be able to afford him.
No,
With this week, I think that the Raiders go ahead and win because of the Antonio Pierce becoming like the head coach. I think that team has a different type of swagger with them. Everybody knows that they see that video now. It's been going viral of Devontae Adams
oh yeah,
sitting there just draining those like small Nerf basketballs.
yep,
If you've ever played with that, you know how hard that is to do that. He cashed out like it was Steph Curry.
yeah.
It was disgusting. Let's cheers to him for that one. That was a good one.
Yay.
But going back to that, I mean, he made some comments that they obviously weren't sitting there like celebrating the firing, but there just needed to be a change there. I think the team loves to change. I think this week, boy oh boy, if you have Josh Jacobs on your fantasy team, you better change your fantasy team name to something with Josh Jacobs because he's about to have a big week, in my opinion.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
I think he's going to have a field day against the Giants.
mhm.
I do think that the Devontae is going to have his what's called his day as well, but I think it's going to be more of a Josh Jacobs day. So I'm riding Vegas over the G men this week.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got Vegas too for all the same reasons you're saying. So real quick, right? 45 plays run total last game here.
Yeah.
We knew he should have been fired games ago. We had on when we did the top 5 worst coaches. We had him on the list. First one to go for us.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers to us on that one,
Yeah.
too.
So
Nice.
we'll monitor what happens as the season gets later. More and more of those guys probably gonna get canned.
Yeah.
But first one to go. And yeah, Antonio Pierce, longtime vet in the NFL, linebacker. I think he's going to bring some juice to that team. Like he's clearly a player's coach, right? So I think that's what they need right now. They
Yeah.
need someone they can trust, that they can just basically just go out play football, have someone that cares, and just give them it their all. With Josh McDaniel was clearly a lot of politics,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Aiden O'Connell's getting the start now. There was like you see that like anonymous report. They were like one of the coaches came out and said, "Why?" They were like, "Why is he starting? Because he's our best quarterback."
Exactly. I know Justin was celebrating that too.
So I'm excited to see that because he did okay his first start
Yeah.
versus the Chargers earlier in the season. I agree with you completely. Josh Jacobs is going to have a great day. he looked actually good early on in that game versus um, the Lions, but they they just stopped kind of giving him the rock. It was
Hmm.
and then Michael Mayer, he was back up to 79% routes run. So if that continues, I think a lot of these pass catchers, like you were saying, they're gonna have better days now.
Yeah.
Giants, not a lot to talk about. Tyrod got popped out of the game early, so then they had to put in the backup. That's his name. I'm drawing a blank right now, but just to put into context, they ran the ball 52 times. Now I know it was a rain game and all this, but still, Saquon got 36 of them for
Lord
128.
have mercy.
And then if it isn't bad enough, Waller now is out again with more hammy issues. They're supposed to have DJ back this week. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. I don't think it matters. They're just in shambles. You called everything. Vegas wins.
Trying to see who is Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, Tom, that's what it is. DeVito.
That's who it
Yeah,
is.
he looked terrible. I
I was
think he
gonna
had like
say
5 or 6
Tony.
pass
Who was
attempts.
it? Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
was thinking of.
Must be a relative.
Yeah. All right. Next game we have Buffalo at Cincinnati.
Good game, baby.
Big one, man. This is always a great game every single season for the past few years.
I love it.
Um, this is a Lamar Hamlin game.
Yeah,
You know
big
that
game.
that was that was that was the game that got him hurt last year. You
Yeah.
know, I'm gonna give you guys my pick first, and then I'll go into it. I'm picking Cincinnati. Cincinnati looks so freaking good right now. There was a play that I saw Joe Burrow, and you know what? Before I even say this, why the hell does Cincinnati do this every single year? Every single year,
You know why?
you start off slow as hell.
Joe Burrow's hurt every year coming into the year.
It's
It happens
They
every year,
just don't
dude.
accept it, and this is the thing is like if he's coming into the season
When he's
hurt
healthy, he's the top 3 quarterback in the league.
easily,
He really is,
no
man. He
debate,
really
no
is.
debate. There was a player that he was running around out there and had like a solid like 15-yard run and just like slid down at the right time, got back up and just get gets all hype and pumps out his chest against the defense. Um, Huge Joe Burrow fan. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
trust I don't trust the Buffalo Bills, even though this is a game where I do think that not Stephon Diggs, I'm sorry, that Gabe Davis could have another big game. Um, I just don't trust the Bills. They're now becoming that suspect team where it's like, oh, they're gonna be good, they're gonna be good, they're gonna go ahead and do this. Well, are they? Are they really? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Those are great.
Another thing, is there a Madden curse? Is it
Um,
alive?
I
It
mean,
could be. It could be. I mean, Josh Allen is on the
more more
cover.
more often than not, those guys get cursed. More often than
It's
not.
it's disgusting. Please, Jalen Hurts, never say yes to the Madden cover. I would more than happy not seeing you on the cover instead of seeing you on there. But yeah, so Cincinnati, I think, takes this one. I do think that it is going to still be a great game.
Yeah,
This is always a great freaking game every single year.
fantastic matchup. I agree. I have Cincinnati as well. So first, right on the Buffalo side, so everything you're saying, I pretty much agree with.
Yeah,
They just have been shaky.
yeah.
They don't necessarily play great all 4 quarters, let leads slip, or don't start off hot. It doesn't seem like it's always a complete game for them. Is what I'm noticing more often than not.
Hmm.
Diggs did his thing again, like he does. 65 yards and a touchdown. Gabe Davis, he had a great game last week. 12 targets, 9 catches, 70 yards.
That
No, I'm
killed
sorry,
me.
87 yards and a
That
touchdown.
killed me in fantasy. I just wanted
Um,
him. I should have started him. I did it. I was like, ah. But it's one of those ones we got. Like,
yeah, no,
whatever.
it's a good problem you have.
Yeah.
Right. So too many guys that you can put in a lineup, and sometimes you make the wrong call.
Yeah.
With Knox out, Dalton Kincaid was up to 87% of routes. He's the one that had 65 yards and a touchdown. Diggs only had 70 yards. That's what it was, no touchdown.
Let's
But
go,
yeah, I've
Dalton.
been calling it all season,
Let's
and
go.
I think it's finally here. And he's playing well now too. Like
Gosh, man, I'm
he's
so
looking
happy.
fantastic. He really does kind of look like a mini Kelsey out there,
Yeah.
right? So then the other thing to note I want to say is Khalil Shakir, 73% of routes, 92 yards total. He looks like he might be a legit part of the offense now. So that's something to monitor. If you have a little stash spot in fantasy, he could be interesting.
Yeah.
And then the backfield. So my whole thing with there is so Cooks gets his touches, right? But with Fournette now, right? How's that going to happen? Is it going to be a 50-50 split with those guys? Is Latavius going to be edged out? Is it going to be a three-headed monster? I'm just curious to see how they play out. We're going to get a look this week. Then on the other side, yeah, Burrow's looking fantastic. 28 of 32, 283, three touchdowns last game. They were just rolling. Chase looked awesome. 10 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Even though it was only 5 catches, 69 yards, even Higgins, everything's looking better, right?
Yeah.
Mixon had his best day, one of the better days, 87 yards and a touchdown. His usage is elite. With passing game playing the way it is, it's going to be a ripple effect. So he's going to start having a better second half. All these guys, the Bengals are they're coming again.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's the same thing
Pause.
every year. They get a slow start, then they finish hot, which is, I mean, if you have to choose a way, if that's the better way, then you starting
You trust
hot
it
and
better.
fizzling
Yeah.
out. So yeah, they get it done. I just think they have Buffalo's number. They're
Yeah.
just and they're more consistent, complete right now,
Yeah.
healthy. Cincinnati.
Yeah. And F you, Ronnie, for picking up Leonard Fournette in your league. I'm in 4 leagues, and
I didn't get him in any. Yeah,
I went into every single league, saw him in there, and I was like, perfect, added him. Right? I get to the league that Ronnie manages.
yeah.
I'm like, why can't I add him? And I see, oh, Team Oxidon, and I'm like, I texted him. I'm like, bro, this is a team. We're gonna go off tangent right now. I'm gonna tell everybody like my team right now because it's honestly not a bad team when you hear it. Or at quarterback, Jalen Hurts, running back, Austin Eckler, running back two, Brees Hall, wide receiver one, Mike Evans, wide receiver two, Gabe Davis, tight ends, Mark Andrews. In my flex right now, I have James Cook, and my defense has the Eagles and then Cam Dicker. Now, my usual wide receiver two is Brandon Ayuk. I have him right now on my
Mm-hmm.
bench. Okay.
Bye week.
I also have Tyler Boyd on my bench. Dobbs on my bench. Jahan Dotson, Kenneth Gainwell, and AJ Dillon.
Okay,
I
that's a good
get.
team.
I'm 2-6 right now.
Well, you know what?
I'm 2 and freaking 6.
There, you have a good team, but you had a couple uphill battles there, right?
I
Brees,
don't think I'm going to be able to make the playoffs with the freaking record
you
that I have right now.
you have a second half team though. You're fine. Eckler's gonna come. You were dealing with the injuries with Eckler. Brees Hall was being ramped up, right? Gabe Davis is coming alive now. Ayuk needs to pick it up a little bit again here, but
Yeah.
your team's fine. Mark Andrews was hurt early on. He took a little bit to get going. Second half team, man. Have faith. Have faith.
I have faith. I had faith, in especially in the beginning of the
And you
season when
got
I
Mr.
drafted this
Tush Push,
team.
man.
It's just insane how I just get beat every single week, and I literally told
Well,
I sent it to Ronnie the gift where it was like, you can't keep doing this to me.
Well, that's like real quick. So I'll do mine. This is like this starting line. This team is 3-5.
Okay.
So Stroud's my quarterback. I did have Anthony Richardson, but he's out for the year. Chris Olave, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, Garrett Wilson, Jameer Gibbs, Logan Thomas, Johnny Smith, Romeo Dubes, Tank Dell, Zach Charbonnet, Justice Hill.
Goodness me,
Pretty darn good
that's a
team.
strong ass team.
So it's again, I dealt with some uphill battles here. I think it's a second half team.
Yeah.
I've been debating because you know how it is. You're like, do I make a move? Like,
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I mean, I
so
already made a move earlier to get. I got Mark Andrews and Gabe Davis.
oh
I
yeah,
forgot the
was that
trade that I
the
made.
DK trade?
Yeah, that was the DK and
Oops.
DK and Drake London. I think it was, yeah, DK and Drake London. I gave up.
So point
So
is, bro,
yeah,
it happens.
yeah,
So
it is what it is. So
last game.
last game we have on the docket, Chargers at Chargers. Is it?
Chargers at
At
Jets.
Jets. Yeah, I
Yep.
was gonna. I like opening it back up on my phone.
Yep.
Chargers at Jets. Um, this is one where when I was looking at it earlier, I'm still honestly in between.
Yeah.
I'm still in between. Mainly, the Chargers are like not a horrible team with Zach Wilson at the helm. Um, their defense really is what carries them. Zach Wilson has found a way to go ahead and also start picking up some some chemistry with Garrett Wilson.
Hmm.
I think Chargers win this. Not in the air. I think on through Austin Eckler. I think he's able to go ahead and carry that team to a dub. I think he has a big game because Herbert, he is good, but man, that team, they're just very suspect, and I don't trust their wide receivers against that defense in their secondary. Um, yeah, I just think that at the end of the day, I don't think that they win it through the air. I think they win it from
Eckler.
from Eckler.
Yeah. So I see. I know your point because I had to think about this for a sec, but I do think the Chargers are going to win too.
Yeah, traveling.
I,
They're playing
yeah.
in New York. It's cold.
I
They have a that New York has a good defense.
they had a few tough
And it's
losses.
also in the worst freaking stadium in
Yeah, MetLife. Yeah.
yeah. They have they have a worse stadium. Like I'm preparing myself to have Eckler get hurt, and I'm gonna have to deal with that again for the season. So yeah,
Don't throw that out there, man. Jeez.
F me. Yeah, knock on wood.
But yeah. So they got a good easy game last week for Chicago. They took care of business that way. I kind of feel like they're going to do the same here as
Esco was
well.
not happy about the knocking on the wood. Esco,
Who's
come
here?
here.
Who's here? I think it's going to be a lot of the same. I think they are going to take care of business. Allen did his thing. He had 69 yards catching, 50 yards, 6 catches, 50 yards for Quentin Johnston, who got more of an uptick when Palmer went out of the game. Oh, hey, buddy. 66% snaps, so that's a good start for him. I'm hoping that maybe this is the start to get him rolling, the first rounder here with no Mike Williams. I agree, though. Eckler needs to be the focal point with no Mike Williams now. He did have a better game. 15 carries, 29 yards is not good, but he did have 94 yards and a touchdown receiving. Then on the Jets side, right? So Garrett Wilson had a nice day. 13 targets, you know, 70, 7 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. I'm sorry, 7 catches, 100 yards, no touchdown. So sorry. But Zach Wilson looked bad, man. He looked horrible. He barely won versus a third stringer where they were running 52 times. I the D's the defense is who has to carry them to wins. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers might be coming back still. I don't believe it, but basically, defense and Brees Hall is the key here. Brees Hall had a tough day on the ground, but 76 yards and a touchdown catch, and I think he does have a very good day this game
Yeah,
versus a week.
yeah. I think he has a good game against them too. Because I don't trust. That's another defense where I'm like I don't really trust you
They're a
guys
little
like too much.
suspect.
Yeah, they're a
Yep,
little suspect. So
but I think the Chargers get it done. Maybe win by like 10.
yeah, I think that's going to be another one where they win by 6, not like a a big game. Um. All right, so let's actually go. Let's actually start your segment first, and then we'll go through my segment.
Sure.
So we're gonna go through. First is the fantasy segment with dates.
All right, guys. So the fantasy segment here got some nuggets for nuggets total. So firstly, I have the most targets with one or less touchdowns so far this year. So right now, Chris Olave leads with 77. Zay Flowers is next with 60. So that's a big gap there. A lot of targets for Olave for only having one touchdown. Michael Thomas, 59. Come on, Derek. Get the ball to these guys in the end zone, right? Evan Ingram, 58. Chris Godwin, 56. Amari Cooper, 55. So my point is kind of like these guys have been very unlucky. They're getting a lot of looks, a lot of targets, just haven't found the end zone. Hopefully, maybe we see an uptick second half of the year,
Yeah.
a little bit bigger of a fantasy production in that regard. My running back matchups I like this week, top five for me: Jonathan Taylor versus Carolina, Rashad White versus Houston, Brees Hall versus the Chargers, Josh Jacobs versus the Giants, and Alvin Kamara versus Chicago. It's funny because we touched on a lot of these guys that we love this week.
Yeah.
Receiver matchups I like this week. You're not going to love this one, but CD Lamb
Oh well.
versus Philly.
He does have a good game against us every year, pretty much so.
You have to respect them, right?
Yeah. He is. Well, listen, that is one
Yeah,
shining light that I will say that they have.
yeah.
Well, him and Micah.
Thielen versus Indianapolis. Olave versus Chicago. Oh, I like this a lot of Saints players this week for Chicago.
Yeah.
Christian Watson versus the Rams. I think that's a little bit of a under the radar one.
Hmm.
And then Amari Cooper versus the Arizona Cardinals.
I like it.
Yep. And then my last nugget that I have. So Donovan Peoples Jones. He got traded to the Lions at the deadline. I believe it was for a 6th round pick, maybe a seventh. They have a bye week this week. What do I always say? They implement things new after the bye week. They've had some outside receiver troubles this year. They only had Josh Reynolds, who's been a consistent guy, but Jamison Williams hasn't really amounted to what they want. I know he's been in the doghouse a little bit. It's a little bit of just a dart throw, but I think maybe DPJ could be implemented very very heavily, be a big piece going forward here on the outside for Jared Goff and company. I'm not saying maybe you should stash him yet, but he's someone to look at and monitor.
Yeah.
I think with that offense, he could have some good weeks.
So I actually, when that whole trade went down, we were talking about it at work, and I that was my initial reaction is that he's going to end up taking
He's a
over the
good
Jameson.
receiver.
Will hell yeah,
He just need an is a perfect spot for him
perfect
too.
system that he doesn't have to go ahead and be the number one guy.
Right.
You go ahead and just do what you do, bro. He's taking Jameson Williams' spot.
Yeah.
So
It's
sorry, Jameson, but you're not gonna be playing that much longer.
yeah. No, I agree. We've said it. We think he would. I won't call him a bust, but where he's picked, I don't think he's gonna amount to what they want.
Yeah, who
And that's
knows?
what I got.
Nice, nice. I like it. All right, let's go ahead and finish it out with the betting segment. All right, so I got some good ones here. There were like um, I actually flip flopped on, and then there's one that I was talking about earlier, which I'll talk about more today as well. So first one, Tyreek Hill versus the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill's becoming now like that CMC where he's getting a touchdown every single game. You just gotta put
Gotta
that in there.
ride it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, I am doing anytime touchdown. I'm doing prop bets moving forward. I just feel a little bit more comfortable with that than I do calling, the the lines for the games. So yeah, Tyreek Hill versus the Chiefs. I mean, like you said, I think he just shows up and shows his old team what he can do. Zay Flowers versus Seattle. Um, this was one where I flip flopped. I was first thinking K Dub, you know,
Hmm.
versus over Baltimore, but I think Zay Flowers and Lamar have been having this chemistry that they're building. He looks.
He was on the list, right?
Yep.
One of the leading target guys,
Yep.
but just due for a touchdown, man. I
Yep.
like it.
Yep.
I like it a lot.
So I think this week he gets his tud. My next one is Mike Evans versus the Texans. Mike Evans is just another one, like I said, security blanket. He's due for also like another big game. Like he always has like a huge, massive game. I think it's due for him at some point. This is the next one that I had. So with Atlanta, let me actually go back to this game on our list here. Where are they at? There we go. Atlanta and Minnesota. So I like both of these guys, and I'm just gonna put out what the props are on them. So I like Kyle Pitts. His if you and this is where if you want to be a little bit more testy with the with your bet, his line is at plus 320. And Bijan, is at plus 115. Now remember, they're playing Minnesota. Um, I I I think Heineke, like I said, gets that passing game rolling, and there becomes some type of like, he brings alive, Kyle Pitts. I think this week, and that's where I think Kyle Pitts, gets his tud this week. Also, when Heineke was in Washington, him and Logan Thomas,
They did have a good connection.
they were
Yeah.
nonstop together. I mean, obviously he was targeting McLaurin a lot too, like him and McLaurin. I'm like, y'all are getting me annoyed. But Logan Thomas was a lot of his security blanket, so that's why um, I think Kyle Pitts goes ahead and possibly gets, like I said, a tud this week. Like I mentioned, you guys can go ahead and choose who you want. I gave you the Lions 320 plus 320 for Kyle Pitts plus 115 for Bijan. I have an anytime tud for DeAndre Swift versus Dallas. I think that he just, like I
Decent.
said, I think he's going to be having a big game this week. They reestablished that run game, and that starts with DeAndre Swift. And my last one, I'm almost tempted to say that there could possibly be two tuds from this guy in this game. Josh Jacobs.
Josh. Okay. Yeah.
Very well could be two touchdowns by Josh Jacobs. I very well have my confidence that he gets his tud this week. But he's one that, once again, if you want to go ahead and play, you want to play with fire, you can go ahead and throw some money on the two touchdown parlay. Keep in mind, guys, DraftKings also provides a boost to your bets. So if you ever want to
Yeah.
boost
Might
that
as
up a
well
little bit,
if it's available, helps you win more money.
$5 that you go ahead and toss into that, and
A
you're winning like
click of a button.
$2,500. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. So, um, great week, great week, great episode.
Yeah, as usual.
We appreciate all of you for always, supporting us. I watched the Pat McAfee show, and I think the same exact thing with him, where I'm like, we're just two guys, like just sitting here, just talking about sports. And there's gonna be a day where we're just like, all right, we're not gonna want to do this anymore. Like we're done. But like, I love it. I love it. It's just fun. Eh, If we
They
had nobody listening to us, I don't care. If we had one person listening to us, which right now is probably my wife and my dog, so we have a person and a dog listening to us. No, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. We have
should
some. We have some. We
we,
have. We always have some good talks, and I'm finally
we say
happy
it
that we were able to get this going.
we say it every week. We just enjoy doing it. We enjoy getting together,
And it
having
it,
these
it improves
discussions,
every single week. It improves.
and
Babe, what is it? 27 days. 27 days until we move into our house, and the setup. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We're gonna have a really nice setup. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So cracking a cold one is just getting started, man. We are gonna be talking about basketball.
I was gonna say that.
We didn't talk about basketball today. We actually have their little play-in tournament going on right now, with Milwaukee and the Milwaukee Bucks and the New York Knicks. Um,
It's coming though.
it's coming. We have to do a little bit more. We don't want to put out an episode with half-assing it essentially. And honestly, none of us understands this whole play-in tournament, so we got to figure that out first,
A
and
lot.
we
A,
can explain
a lot of what we're gonna talk about though is gonna be Sixers heavy. You know
it. A
what we
lot of,
see,
yeah,
what we
Sixers
like.
heavy for
We'll
sure.
we'll touch on the trade. We'll touch on what we think the outlook of the season is, and then obviously just things going on in the league.
Yeah,
Players we like. What they're doing, how they're performing, predictions, small things like that. Not quite as in depth as we do with the
with
football,
football. Yeah,
but it's a sport we're both very passionate about too.
yeah,
Follow very closely, and want to add it to the list of cracking a cold one.
yeah, yeah. And I do want to put my thoughts out right now on James Harden, dude.
Kick rocks.
Kick rocks, yeah. And this isn't just like a whole phantom thing of us being like, oh my gosh, like no, we don't miss you. Like it was a headache. You were literally
You don't
Ben
have to be a
Ben Simmons
Sixers fan.
2.0 in this whole off season, and then also the beginning of the season. Just a literal gnat that's just bugging the fuck out of you at a damn cookout, and you're just not able to get away from it. That's what it was. So, you know, I'm happy that ownership lit some fire up Daryl Morey's ass to go ahead and get him out of there because I heard that it wasn't a trade that he wanted, but we got Rocco back.
It's okay. Let him cook. Let him cook. More's coming.
Exactly.
More's
More
coming.
more is coming. Um I'm really excited honestly now for the season this year. I don't I'm we're gonna go I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. I don't think that we're gonna be competing for a championship right now. Right now. This team right now. But let's see.
There's a lot more positives
There's a
than
lot
there
of
was a month
positives.
ago. So let's cheers to that.
And I want to be singing that song. Clap your hands, everybody, for Philadelphia 76ers.
We'll have to play that when we're doing
Well, I was gonna say I wanna find it right now. Clap your hands. We're gonna cheers right now though because of the fact that listen, like I said, guys, we love y'all, we appreciate y'all, and we thank y'all for another great episode.
and I did support the Sixers today with the hat, baby. Philadelphia 76ers.
Stomp your feet, everybody, for Philadelphia 76ers. Here they come, Philadelphia. Stand up and cheer, Philadelphia. Best part, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers. 10, 9, 8, 76ers. Woo!
That is the best part.
We can't wait, guys. We can't wait. Lots of good talks about the Sixers this year. So once again, thank you guys. And if you're not doing anything, as we always say, go ahead and crack a cold one.